Hey everyone, and welcome to Lab 5 of my Ansible tutorial. And in this lab, we are going to go over roles. So if you look at the directory that we have created here, we have a handlers folder, a task, and a templates. But everything in there is just associated to Apache 2 and our web servers group. So a better way to organize this would be to use roles. So let's go ahead and hop into the command line and we'll create our first role here. Alright, so I'm going to type the tree command here. And it looks like I don't have it, so let's do apt get install tree. And this is going to show my folder structure. So we'll just wait for this to finish downloading. And then we're going to have a look at the folder structure here in the shell. Alright, so type tree. And we see that we're not in the correct directory. So let's go to vagrant. And then we want to go into the lab folder. So this is our working directory here, vagrant/lab. And if we type tree, we'll see how everything is set up right now. So we've got our handlers folder, our tasks, and our templates. Now we want to create a new role named Apache 2. So we're going to use the Ansible Galaxy command to do that. So just type Ansible-Galaxy and init to initiate a new role. And then we want this under the roles folder, and the role name is going to be Apache 2. So we'll go ahead and hit enter. And this is going to create the whole folder structure for the Apache 2 role. So now if we type tree, we can see that there's a roles folder, there's an Apache 2 folder, and now we have a whole folder structure under Apache 2. And you can see there's similarities here, like they have a handlers folder, and they have a task folder, and a templates folder, as well as a few others, vars and tests. So we'll get into those folders in a separate video, but let's go ahead and start configuring our Apache 2 role. Okay, so we're in Visual Studio now, and we can see that roles folder, Apache 2. And now we want to move our current tasks to that task folder. And let's also move our templates to the templates folder. And then let's move our handlers to the handlers folder underneath Apache 2. And we'll replace that one because it already exists. I'm going to downsize this and delete these folders that we don't need anymore under the root of lab. Alright, so the root of our directory is a lot cleaner now, but we aren't there yet. We need to make a couple configuration changes. So right now we have the tasks and we're including the task folder, but instead of doing that, we're going to change this to a role. So let's go ahead and delete all this. So instead of tasks, we're going to type roles, and then we're going to say Apache 2. And that should be the only change that we need in our playbook. There's one more thing we need to do, and that's go into our roles folder. The handler's got its own file, but under tasks, it'll always look in this main.yml folder first. So we need to make a change in here to reference that our Apache 2 install. So let's make that change. So we're going to say -include and just say Apache 2 underscore install.yaml. So now when the playbook looks under the main task in task folder for Apache 2, it will say include this, and it'll read the Apache 2 underscore install YAML file. So that looks good. Looks like we have everything we need. Let's hop back into our terminal. And if we do tree again, we can see we got a much cleaner folder structure here. We got our inventory file, we got our playbook, we got the roles, with the Apache 2 being the only role. So let's go ahead and run the playbook. And I probably have the command saved already. Okay. So it's the same Ansible-playbook command with the inventory file of hosts and playbook 1. So go ahead and hit enter, put in Vagrant for the password, and it should run. So it looks like everything is going successfully, and it ran all our tasks as expected. So everything is in there and cleaned up nicely. So let's go ahead and create a second role here. So we'll do Ansible Galaxy init roles/common. Now this common role I'm going to give to all my servers, so my web servers, my database, and everything like that. And let's also, while we're in the Ansible Galaxy command, create another one for Nginx. Perfect. So now we have 3 roles created. And if we look at the folder structure, we can see roles has Apache 2, common, and Nginx, and they all have their separate folder structure. So let's hop into our code editor and start configuring the playbook and the roles. Alright, back in the code editor. So we've been working just on the web servers for quite a while here. Let's go ahead and add the proxy server. So we'll say hosts, and we'll say proxy, which is in reference to this file and this group. So there's the load balancer is underneath the proxy group. So we have that. We want it to become root. So become yes. And then the roles for this one is going to be common, which we just added. Whoops. Common, as well as Nginx. And let's add common to this one as well. So we have 2 different plays here in our play. So we have 2 different plays in our playbook here. We have one for the web servers and we have one for the hosts. So the web servers are going to install based on the common role as well as the Apache 2, and the proxy is going to install based on the common as well as the Nginx. So let's go ahead and configure those roles now that we are referencing it in our playbook. So we'll start with common, and let's go to the task folder and hop into the main.yaml file, and let's say include install tools.yml, and then we'll create this file as well in the same directory. And then within there, let's get a little more complex and say name install common packages, and we'll use the app module, but instead of installing one tool at a time, we're going to use a loop. So we'll say in curly brackets item for the name, and the state will always be the latest for our tools. And now we're going to use the special loop with items. And then these are the items that we're going to loop through. So we'll say pi-df tree. So everyone has the tree utility now. And then open-vm tools. Okay, perfect. So that's all we should need for our common role. Let's go ahead and configure Nginx now. So I'll hop on over to Nginx and let's go look at the tasks folder. And then we'll open up main and let's include two files here. We'll say include install packages .yml, and let's say include configure nginx.yml, and we'll create both of these files. Let me close my extra editors. Downsize this. So I'm in the Nginx task folder. I'm going to create two new files that I just referenced. Create this one. Alright, so let's start with the install packages. So we want to install Nginx. So that's pretty simple. We'll just do it the same as we did for Apache. We'll give it a name. Let's install Nginx packages. And then we're going to use the app module. Name Nginx state present. And this will just install Nginx. And for our next file, we want to actually configure Nginx. So we will say name deploy Nginx sites configuration. And then let's create another one down here, and we'll say name remove defaults, because I want to remove the default configuration there. So under our first one, it's going to be a template, and I'm going to copy and paste here. Now I'm doing something a little different here, and I'm having this on the same line. This would be the same as this, but with the colon. This is the same as having it in a single line. So whatever works best for you. So we'll keep that on a single line. It looks a little bit cleaner. And then we also want to notify activity. Since we're making a configuration change, we want to restart Nginx. And if you remember correctly, whenever you have a notify, that means you need to have a handler. So let's hop on over to the handlers folder under Nginx and open main, and let's just put the logic in the main folder, in the main YAML file, and we'll call it restart Nginx, and it's the service module, and we'll do that same inline arguments. So state equals restarted. Perfect. So let's just go through all these files that we have now. So web servers, it's going to go through the roles and install common, install Apache 2. Then it's going to go to the proxy group, and on each of the servers in the proxy group, it's going to install common as well as Nginx. So it'll go to this roles folder, it'll see common, it'll go to main, it'll say include tools, which is under this folder, and then it'll install these tools. And that'll be complete for that. Then it'll install the Nginx role, which will go under this folder, and look at the task main, see these two YAML files, and look at the logic there. Install Nginx, make sure it's present, and then it's going to set up this mysite.j2 and send it to this destination on the host. and restart Nginx. And oh, we didn't finish this guy here, which is to remove the defaults. So let's do that. I'll copy and paste what I have here. So instead of using template, it's just going to look at the file. This is the path for the file, and it's going to make sure that it doesn't exist. So it's going to delete it, basically. That looks good. Also, we're referencing this template, but we haven't created a template yet. So it's good that we sort of walked through this configuration, and we can see that we're missing a few things. So let's go to the templates folder, and let's create this template. Get that into my clipboard, and go new file, mysite.j2. And I think I have a templated Nginx. Yeah, okay. So I'll paste this in here. Again, this is all available on the GitHub in the description below, and the completed lab is underneath Ansible-lab 5. So if you ever want to copy and paste any of these configurations, go ahead and grab it from there. But this is pretty self-explanatory. We're running a server listening on port 80, and it's going to proxy pass it to here, and in here it knows the IP addresses of the servers and the HTTP port. In a later video, we're going to take this configuration file and we're going to convert it to using variables and have it dynamically created, just to help you automate further. But for now, this looks good. So let's hop into the command line and run our playbook and make sure that everything installs correctly. So we'll run the playbook, Vagrant for the password, and we have a configuration error, and it looks like, it says right here, it's under the Nginx role, configure Nginx, line 1, column 3. Okay, let's look at that. Alright, so I had a typo here, which I'm sure most people caught. So I will fix that. And then let's run it again. It looks like it's pretty happy with that. So it's working on the web servers. And it's running the first play there, the first task, and it's installing the common packages. I'll pull this open here. So right now it is on the common role, and it's installing tools, and it's installing these 3 packages. So it'll probably take a minute or two. I'll speed up the video. Alright, so it's going through the Apache 2, finished that. Now it's working on the proxy, gathering the facts, and now it's installing packages there. Okay, so the common packages have been installed. And it looks like I made a typo for packages, but that's okay. It's just the name. And now it's installing Nginx packages. Looks like it configured it properly. Okay, we have an error. Restarted it. I probably put it in a typo there. So it says it was trying to restart Nginx, so we know we have a problem with our handler. The value state must be one of these. So I probably just misspelled restarted. So let's hop back into the editor. So that was under Nginx, the handler for Nginx. I said restart, so we want restarted. Alright, let's rerun the playbook. It'll run a lot quicker this time, since it doesn't actually need to do anything. It's just verifying the state of everything, since everything's already installed. And this is sort of the beauty of using Ansible, is it's aware of the state. So it doesn't have to redo everything. It just does it once, and if it's already meeting that state, it's done. Okay, so it says everything's green, everything passed, it did everything it needed to do. So let's go ahead and test this. So if you remember in our previous video, we did a curl to our web servers, right? And those servers were listening on port 8000. And we can see that we can get to both of our web servers. But now let's try doing a curl to our load balancer. And it's using default port 80. And there we can see we are getting something. It's not exactly what I was expecting, so let me do a little bit of troubleshooting. Alright, so I paused the video, I went and got my coffee, and I thought about it, and I came back, and I think we did everything okay, but it just didn't restart the service. If we look up here, since everything came back green, that handler never got called, so it never restarted the service. That was because when we first ran the playbook, we had this named incorrectly, so the handler didn't run properly. Then when we reran the playbook, everything was already configured properly, so it didn't know it needed to restart. So let's force a change here. I could manually go to the server and restart the service, but let's just force a change here by taking out some white space in the template, and if we rerun the playbook, it will re-push out that configuration file, and once it re-pushes out the configuration file, it will force the restart of the service, and Nginx should properly load balance. Okay, so it came back yellow when it deployed, so it made a change, and because it made a change, it ran the handler to restart Nginx, and it looks like that went through okay. So now, if we curl the load balancer, we can see that we're getting to the custom website that we've made. Perfect. Alright, so I hope this video was helpful when it came to managing and creating roles using Ansible Galaxy. In the next video, we're going to get deeper into customizing our configuration and adding variables, and that'll help you when you're trying to create a lot more dynamic configurations. So please join me in the next video. If you found this video helpful, please like, and if you want to see more content from me, please hit the subscribe button. I hope to see you in the next video. Thanks.